Now we added that file storage logic to our model. Let's now fix this a little bit or improve the code in the model. We're reusing some code, and if we reuse code, that always screams for some refactoring. And indeed, that is what I want to do. I will create a helper function, and I'll store it in a constant, and I'll name that helper function get products from file. And this helper function will do this path construction here for me, and it will also read the file. So it will basically do everything I do here in fetch all, like this. And it will even get my callback here, because I do execute that here and ultimately return this, because the issue of this process taking some time and the need to inform the caller of this function about when it's done hasn't gone away. So I still use the same pattern of having this helper function, which receives a callback, which it executes once it's done reading the file. With this, get products from file is really just all I execute here in fetch all. So I simply just call this and forward the callback. Now for save, however, it means that here I can also call get products from file, but here I don't forward any callback, because instead I have my own logic here. I do retrieve my products there, and that's essentially the same logic I do have in get products from file. I either return an empty array if I have an error, or I parse my content. Here we did it the other way around, but in the end it will result in the same result. So I'm only interested in this logic here then. We can remove that, and instead just take this code here, and then create a new anonymous function where I know that I will get my products, because this again is the callback function. It is the function I will pass as an argument to get products from file. So it is what will get called here. So this function will get called and will receive an empty array or the array with the data. And I should, by the way, add a return statement here to make sure that we never execute this code after having executed this code. That was an error we had in the code before. Alternatively, you simply wrap the other code in an else statement, either of the two. So here I'll use the if-else approach. But now with that, the callback will get executed and will get this array of products. And now here in save, I do have this anonymous function which receives the products. And in this anonymous function, I will then put in my code where I append a new product, and make sure to always use arrow functions so that this never loses its context and always refers to the class and therefore to the object based on the class. And then I write to the file. This means I can get rid of this line too. And now we get a slimmer version because we're reusing code, but it still should work. If I reload here, loading product seems to work. And if I add a second book, even though it's the fourth one, this crashes because P is not defined. Yeah, the path here in save, that is a problem. The path is not defined because I'm only defining it in my helper function now. Now there are various ways of fixing that. One of the easier ways is to simply create this as a global helper constant here, P, so that I can use it in the entire file. You can, of course, also go for different solutions and pass it around in the functions. But now the path should be available in the save method and in get products from file. And with that, if I now reload and try this second, actually fourth book again, this now works. So now we are able to elegantly work with our products, store them in a file, fetch them from there, and all of that through a model. And that is the MVC pattern implemented into our project.